Start recording. Ready? This meeting has begun. Good morning, everyone. You can please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good morning, everyone. Oh, we do. Hi, Elaine. Welcome.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you.
You just muted me? Is that what you did?
That's what it looked like.
Oh,
No, you're good.
hi, Elaine. Welcome. Hope
Good
you
morning.
enjoyed the meeting. Where are you joining us from?
I live in Williamsville, and thank you for invitation. I'm glad today join your club.
I didn't catch where you, did somebody catch where she's from? What country?
I live in US, but originally I was born in Belarus. It's European country.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank
Welcome.
you.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Hope you enjoy it.
Thank you, I will.
Do we have any announcements this morning? We do. Of course she does. Oh yeah, we need the inspiration.
That's okay, we'll get to it. Hey, everybody. I'm Kate. I'm our president. Welcome Elaine as our guest. Oh, Marshall hopped on too, and we might have a couple of other guests on Zoom join us. I know they said they might be able to come, or maybe next week. This Saturday is our trip to Niagara on the Lake in Ontario, Canada. We're going to Shawfest. 17 of us are going. We're very excited. 4 are not Toastmasters. 13 are. We're going for lunch. We have My Fair Lady, all about language. We will catch you up when you return. Those of us here in the person, I'm giving you your tickets, and we're working out all the final carpooling and lunch and gathering afterwards for David's friend. So I'm very excited about that, and I'll save the rest of the announcements for the end. So we'll get back to Mike and Sylvia.
Dave, come on up. Sylvia's on deck for the inspiration. Hold on. But come on.
I'm here.
All right,
Ready, go.
ready, go.
I'd like to make the announcement that I'm 85% sure that Mayor Lombardi will be here next Thursday morning to give us a proclamation in honor of our 40th anniversary. So I think to make it a little bit easier on the mayor, maybe Margot could write the story and I'll take the pictures for the paper. Oh, that's fine. Not a problem. Ooh. Can't even, never mind, I'm sorry. So I just wanted to give you a heads up on that. Thank you very much.
Dave. All right, the mayor, we're going big time. Sylvia, come on up for the inspiration. Good morning.
You are never too old to set another goal or dream a new dream. Every day may be good, may not be good, but there's something good in every day. The difference between ordinary and extraordinary is that, or extra. Be so happy that when other people look at you, they become happy too. Let's start our day with a smile.
Thanks, Sylvia. And now I'd like to turn the day over to our Toastmaster of the day, Tracy Farrell. Good morning, Tracy.
Thank you, Mr. Sergeant of Arms. So the undo list, I put that out last week and so many people have emailed me as like, what in the world are you talking about? What's an undo list? So I have to tell you, everybody knows I'm changing jobs in a week and a half. And I'm going through my office after the last 8 years, and there's so many things I have to undo. I have so many maps and graphs and everything. It's like, what was I going to do with these things? I'm saving these for a project that I'm never going to do. So my next phase, I'm going to undo a lot. So we have to really kind of look at everything that we do. Are we overcommitting? Oh yeah, that's me, 100%. And lately, it seems like every night there's something, lunch hours, I'm running around doing errands, and then you don't have time to do the things I really want to do. And have I told you, I know I've given this speech about our summer cottage that we bought a couple of years ago, also lovingly referred to as the money pit. Yep, it's still a money pit. And every summer we go down there every weekend. We're mowing the grass, we're cleaning. It is not that summer oasis. And I'm supposed to be down there sitting by a campfire, reading books and toasting marshmallows. A lot of things that need to be done. How can I make my life simpler? Because I'm getting into those years where I'm going to live simply. So really, what does that mean? It means wanting less and maybe working hard for something besides money. Like, who cares about the money? Yeah, I want to like eat and have a roof over my head, but really, I just want like something simple, get me through life. And if I'm working hard at something, and I can refer to like when I work at the winery, oh, that is the best job in the world. You can't get better than serving wine and telling ghost stories. And Dave and I will sit there and tell you when we're at Platter's Chocolate, that just puts it over the rainbow there. So, and then quitting anything that makes you feel overwhelmed. There's a lot of things that for some reason, I don't know how to say no to. And I get involved in it. And I'm like, what was I thinking? Why do I have this clutter? Because I didn't say no. And then last, stop living the life that other people think you should be living. It's like, who I get involved because everybody thinks I should be doing this. And really, I want to go into my granny life. I'm going to retire. I'm going to knit. I'm going to can and I'm going to garden and wear kooky dresses. That is my retirement. And you can't go into a simple life without decluttering. So we're going to be talking about all of these things today. But first, we're going to start off with our job holders. And the first one is our WAG master. Mike Licati, you're online. Can you tell us what your job is?
Good morning, Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and our guests this morning. First, I'll start with the word of the day. I put in the chat already, but today's word is hodgepodge. It's a noun, an organized collection or mixture of various things. So try to use the word for table topics and throughout the meeting today. My other job as master and grammarian is to count the ahs, ums, pregnant pauses. We've added so to that collection. And as well, and as grammarian, I will also report back on the good and poor uses of the English language. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Mike. And our quote master is Anne Marie. Anne Marie, can you give us a quote for the day?
Good morning, everybody. So nice to see all your smiling faces. I've really missed everyone. I am retiring and the commencement actually is Saturday, but I think I'd rather be at Niagara on the Lake with all you people having a ball with lunch. It sounded really great. I'm traveling for the summer, but I plan to come back in the fall, so I hope I'll be on the schedule. Undo lists. We live our life according to lists, and at least I do, and it's crazy sometimes, but trying to be productive and trying to be organized in this totally crazy world. So I have a couple of quotes for you. The first one is, to-do lists are great, but can be overwhelming, especially when you lose your lists. The next one is a real gem, and I don't think I can get through it without laughing, but I'll try my best. I'm not sure what to put on my to-do list. I need a vacation. I need 5 women. I need to get the wax out of my ears. My car needs an oil change. I failed to file my damn income tax form. There are ants in my apartment. I need to get my teeth cleaned. My auto insurance has expired. I cut myself every time I shave, and I haven't laughed in 6 years. I tend to worry when there I tend to worry when there's nothing to worry about. And when there is something to worry about, I just get drunk. Two other short quotes. Most men have a to-do list of women that they plan on executing, but if and when they get rich and famous. And the last one, I want to leave you on a positive note. Renaming your to-do list as an opportunity list is a good idea. Each day there are treasures filled all around us and limitless opportunities. Take joy and power in checking them off. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Anne Marie. That is quite a hodgepodge of things that we want to take off of our undo list. So next up, we have our jester of the day, Mike Florio. Can you give us a jest?
So Tracy, I totally get it, how tough it is, you know, to have everything, all these to-do lists with all the properties and everything I own. So what I did was I hired a handyman and I gave him a to-do list. When I got home, I found out only items 1, 3, and 5 were done on the list. Turns out he only does odd jobs. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Mike. And our timer is Larry McKenzie. Larry, can you? Mike's going to tell us what Larry's job is.
There you go. Larry's busy right now, so. But Larry, it'll be all online or on the video screen. So the yellow will come out, the green first will come out for table topics at 1. The yellow at 1 minute and 1.5. Sorry, I did 1.5 and 2. And 2 is the red. It's 2.5. Thanks, Larry. You set me up.
It's 1.5 to 2.
Thanks.
1:30, 1:45, 2 minutes.
Okay, now the regular speeches are 5, 6, and 7. Right? Okay. Unless some are longer. Okay. Unless otherwise requested. And evaluations are 2, 2.5, and 3. Thank God. Okay. I'm up here doing 3 jokes today. Madam Toastmaster.
Michael. So our quiz master today is Kate. And Kate's going to come up here and tell us what a quiz master is.
Elaine, our guest, our honored guest, I'm not sure if you're already a Toastmaster. However, for our guest and our newest members, the Quizmaster is not a role at every club around the world. One of our members, I believe it was Charlie many years ago, visited another club and they did this. It's a listening task where I will listen throughout the meeting and come up with a few quiz questions at the end and challenge us and see how our listening skills were. Thank you very much, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you. And our general evaluator today is Nancy Ferry. I didn't want to forget her.
Madam Toastmaster, no one likes to be forgotten. I'm so glad I was remembered. As general evaluator, I have a hodgepodge of things to listen for. I will be evaluating the general flow of the meeting, how the Toastmaster pulled it together. Also, I will be listening for what the evaluators are saying and give a little general evaluation of them. Also, I have a card for Kristen Badgerbach, who lost her brother recently. I'm going to pass that around and sign that. And that will be the final quiz to see if everybody signed it. Quiz for you too. So you remember whether everybody signed it or not. Madam.
Thank you. So now I'm going to go straight into table topics, and Mark Campos is online. Mark, I also want you to know that Joe Budnick walked into the room. Joe's looking at me, giving me the evil eye. He is in the room and can also do table topics. Mark, I'll hand it over to you.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and our guest Elaine. Good morning. As Kate said, for the benefit of our guest and also for our newer members, this portion of the meeting is where we test your ability to speak extemporaneously, because we know in real life we're often called upon to speak off the cuff, and these are excellent skills to have. So you will be challenged. 3 lucky contestants this morning will be challenged to speak for 1.5 to 2 minutes on a random question that they ask them. And in addition to staying within time, they need to use the word hodgepodge. Let's get started, shall we? I was one of the people that emailed Tracy looking for clarification of the meeting theme. I wanted to be sure what it was about. I have to say, I love this meeting theme. This is near and dear to my heart because I know many people who overcommit, can never say no. And when they overcommit, they have no concept of time management and trying to fit things into schedules and so on and so forth. So my first contestant I would like to invite Beth Banks. I don't believe you have a job this morning. If you could make your way to the lectern, please. Thank you, Beth. You look very excited about this opportunity. So Beth,
It's very nice coming up after Tracy. None of this.
See, I was very strategic with this. There's no microphone adjustment. I planned, it's just the way I drew it up. So I think we all know in our lives, there are some people that just always have to be doing something. They always have to have a task, a chore. Maybe it gives them a sense of purpose. Maybe they panic about being bored. I don't know. For this guy, I'm really happy to have nothing to do. You show me a weekend on the calendar where there's nothing, I am one happy guy. So Beth, tell all of us, which one are you? Which camp do you fall in?
My daughter's here, so I have to be honest. I'm the one that's usually busy doing a lot of stuff. So that's me. Maybe we could say my life is a hodgepodge because I'm running from here to there and wherever. So I'm usually busy. I like to garden, but I also like to read. I'm in a book club. We've read, I would say, a real hodgepodge of books. The worst one, the one we didn't like, believe it or not, was the Oprah Winfrey selection. And we all got back to the book club and went, no. One of the girls said, well, it was good at the end. Yes, but you had to get all through the whole book to get to the end, and it was still not great. But we've read some very, very good books, and I've read some very good in my hodgepodge that I get from my cousin. All kinds of good books. I just gave Nancy one a couple of weeks ago. Hopefully she'll like it as much as I did. But yes, that's my life, a hodgepodge. I go from here to there to all kinds of things. So there we go. That's my life, hodgepodge.
Well, thank you very much, Beth. Now, for an individual that has some OCD tendencies, such as myself, I need to know where things are. They need to be very orderly. I like them neat. I like them clean. I like to be able to find something I know I have. And nothing drives me more bananas than finding something that I didn't know I had somewhere in my basement or my garage. So, and not to be morbid, but where this was really driven home, having too much stuff, because we tend to keep stuff just because it's still good. We might use it someday. Having had the unpleasant task of having to clean out my in-laws' home after they both passed, we both resolved, my wife and I both resolved, We are not putting our children through this. We are getting rid of stuff. So my next contestant, I'd like to hear from a fellow Queens, New York resident, Dave C. And I'm using C because I'm not 100% sure of the pronunciation and I don't want to get it wrong. But Dave, if you could make your way up to the lectern, I don't believe you have a job today. Dave, are you one that tends to hoard items? Are you a collector? If you collect something, and I don't really get the whole collecting thing because eventually somebody's got to get rid of it. What do you collect? Dave.
Thank you. Thank you. I collect people. And that is my job. I am a born talker. My mother said you didn't talk till you were 3 years old. And you would point to the bananas on top of the refrigerator and go, oh, 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 oh. And my mother, who is also an educator, said, no, I'm not giving you a banana. I pouched it. You tell me what you want. So I said, okay, I want a banana. And since that moment, I have never shut up. My mother may regret starting me off like that, but I love people. I love interacting with people. I joined Sunrise Optimist Club so I could help the children and the people in the community. I'm an immigrant from New York, and I want to blend in with you people with beef on weck. I want to know what Skajaka Highway is and why North Tonawanda fights with Tonawanda. Why they're enemies, I have no idea. But with Sunrise Optimist Club, I found a few people that have kind of helped me. One of them is sitting in this room. Thank you, Dave Licata, for pushing me every morning. When are you coming to Toastmasters? 2 years. He finally got his wish, and I thank him for that. And the ASL people thank me all the time about ASL for helping them learn a new language. And I say to them, I am enjoying it. Whatever I give you, I get back in aces. And oh, say the word. I have a hodgepodge of friends. Yeah. Yes, I do. Red light, bye-bye.
Thank you very much, Dave. For our third and final contestant, I would like to invite our guest, Elaine. Elaine, would you be willing to give this a whirl? We believe in AM Lockport of pushing new guests right into the deep end of the pool. So hopefully you're getting the idea of how this works. And if you're willing to participate, I'd like to ask you the question. There are different types of vacations. Some people like to go on adventures and do different things, sightsee and pack in as much as they can. On the other end of the spectrum are people like me. Drop me off at a beach with a cooler, pick me up in a week. I'm good. So Elaine, what is your favorite type of vacation?
Thank
And
you.
don't forget to use hodgepodge.
Thank you for your question. To be honest, my vacation, I like hodgepodge. I like lazy vacation. Usually we try one time a year going for Caribbean, and I am enjoy beach vacation. It's lazy, it's only sun, only beach, only water, cocktails, and nothing. And I'm glad that I have opportunity for activity vacation. I have a friends, they like travel. And one time a year we going to Europe. It's activity vacation. April this year, I had a vacation with my daughter. She graduated from pharmacy school this week on Saturday, and it was gift for her graduation. And we spent 3 weeks in Italy. It was a great time. It was Sunday, it was pizza, it was emotional. We visit a lot of museum, we visit different city. To be honest, I was little tired because it's hard to be with young woman and follow her, but I was happy that I had this opportunity. Thank you very much for your question. Back to you.
All right, thank you very much, Elaine. At this time, I would like to call for a word master report. Mike, can you tell us how the word of the day did?
Thank you, Mr. Table Topics Master. I am proud to report that all three of our table topics qualified. David used it once, Elaine used it once, and Beth took the crown this morning and used it 5 times. Mr. Table Topics Master, back to you.
All right, thank you very much, Mike. And lastly, I would like to call for a timers report. Larry, how did we do on time?
Well, today was a very interesting morning because I almost forgot to highlight the timer, which would have been really interesting. Here is the results. Beth, 1:31. Dave C, 2 minutes and 13 seconds. And Elaine, 1:41. All three have qualified, Mr. Topics Master.
All right, thank you very much, Larry. At this point, I will invite everyone to cast a vote for either Beth, Dave, or Elaine, and the poll will be up momentarily. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Mr. Table Topics Master. And as we're voting for either Beth, Dave, or Lane, we have to talk about what's the first thing to make our life simpler. Well, maybe it's, I know nobody likes doing it. I don't like doing it, but decluttering. And for some people, that means really strict minimalism. It's like, well, that's a bit little too much for me. I don't like that stark, bare look. It's kind of cold to me. But what I call essential, maybe a plant, my dog, and a couple pairs of shoes. Us women can't live without our shoes. So all of our stuff and our decluttering, it all is an individual task of what some people like and some people don't like. Actually, it's really a mindset to want less. Trying to keep up with the Joneses or the Smiths, it's really an impossible task to actually do that. See, we all have to decide, what do we want? And how much do we want of that? And I have to tell you, coming to Toastmasters, one of the best sites on decluttering is something I learned here at Toastmasters. I know way back, Margot gave a speech on decluttering or cleaning, something like that, but she mentioned the Fly Lady website. And really, it's a quirky little lady on this website, but every day every week she divides up your entire house, your office, your car, all of those things. And she says, okay, today you're going to do these 5 tasks. And then maybe, and she says, don't do more than 15 minutes a day. You're not supposed to overwhelm yourself, just these 5 tasks. Wow. I love it when somebody gives me a task to do, because it's like, okay, it's 15 minutes. I can run through, I can do these 5 tasks. They're listed off in my planner and I'm feeling good. So if that's something that works for you, make a list of those 5 tasks. And like at the end of the month or the end of the week, you have a clean room at the end of the week. At the end of the month, your whole house is clean. Once again, you start over the next month, but it's a constant task. But should we really stop there, just decluttering our house? No. As I said, you have to keep your workspace clean too. Otherwise, you get 8 years of clutter. Maybe even your digital space. I know Dave Licata was working on my phone once and he's like, you have 2,000 emails in here. What are you doing? I don't know. I work for the government. We don't delete anything. And then maybe your car, at least some of us don't. There's some politicians. And then there's your car. Every time I leave we're all dropping things today. Every time I leave my car, what I put in the morning, I take out at night. Otherwise, at the end of the week, you look at your car and like, oh my gosh. And I try to like clean it out, vacuum it out every once a week. Once again, in that Fly Lady website, it says make Friday your clean your car day. So I try to keep up with it. Doesn't always work, and maybe we don't always every week. Some weeks are better than others, but something to keep on top of. So next, we're going to go into our first speech. And I know that Dave is standing here ready. He is going to evaluate. Jackie, you're not the first speaker. Oh, Dave, who are you? Oh, I didn't know that. David Jones, you're going first. You're up on deck, and Dave Licata is ready here to be your evaluator. Dave Licata, can you tell us what David Jones will be speaking about? Thanks.
I asked Dr. Jer, and he said David Jones is going first. So I went on I stood in the on deck circle to speed this meeting up, but now true to form, we're being slowed down by questions of the lineup in this batting order. David Jones is going to focus on the positive. This ought to be tough because since he's joined the club, he's always focused on the positive. So he's going to do a bang up job, I'm sure. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, Dave's gone. Okay, listen, I have to use the men's room and we can turn it over to somebody else, you know. Jeez. All right. The purpose of this project is for the member to practice being aware that thoughts and feelings, as well as the impact of the response on others. The purpose of the speech is for the member to share their experience and completing the project. The time, it says here, it's going to be 2 to 3 minutes or 5 to 7 minutes. What's your choice?
5 to 7.
5 to 7. And I'm sorry, I don't have the name.
That's,
Oh, here
I got
she comes with a name. I'll be standing by. Good luck, Dave.
Thank you. Before I get started, it's 5 to 7 minutes, and the title is It Takes a Village.
Okay.
And I had to jump off camera for a moment because I am in Daytona Beach this week, and the air conditioner in the hotel kicked on, so I had to turn it off. Mr. Timer, I'm ready. And thank you, Madam Toastmaster, evaluator, fellow Toastmasters, and guests. I'm an only child, and most of my life, I've done it myself. And that's worked out pretty well for me for most things, except, of course, my marriage. My wife and I were two independent people trying to make it work. We were like two ships in the ocean without a rudder, just going adrift here and there. Now, when it was good, calm weather, we sailed peacefully next to each other, side by side. But on occasion, there'd be some winds and currents, and we'd start to drift apart, and we'd reach over the railing and grab each other's hand and pull us back together. And then there were times where there was a hodgepodge of weather with strong winds and waves, and we would crash into each other, causing chaos and arguments. Eventually, the two ships couldn't stay together. We got too far apart to make it work. Now, on a side note, recently, the winds have been a little bit nicer to us. After 9 years being apart, we might be coming back together, and hopefully we'll get on the same ship this time out, but we'll see what happens. Now, there was a saying, and there was a first lady who wrote a book called It Takes a Village. And obviously I never knew about this village concept, but I did learn it from my older daughter. She's married with 2 kids, and my son-in-law is a college football coach down in Louisiana. Now, he's a good Italian boy from Buffalo, New York, and his last name is Pecoraro. Now, he's a defensive coordinator, and there's not a single player on his team that can pronounce Pecoraro. They call him Coach Peck. And my daughter created a thing called the Team Peck. Team Peck is the immediate family, the 4 grandparents, sisters, cousins, friends. Everybody helps with the family of the Pecораros. Now, last week and over the weekend, I was down in Louisiana taking care of my grandkids, Izzy and Rocky. Coach Peck was off doing recruiting, and my daughters and my ex-wife were on their annual Mother's Day trip. They went down to Charleston, South Carolina this time. Now, when I was there, I did have a bad grandparent in charge moment. You see, my granddaughter, Izzy, who is 6 years old, was in the backyard playing soccer, and she broke her thumb. That was an awkward call for my daughter to receive from me. But Izzy's happy and fine because now she has a really cool pink cast on her hand. But when the plans came to be, they did a call out to Team Peck. They called everybody to see who could take care of the grandkids for them. And I raised my hand and I went. And that's part of Team Peck, is we all work together for the betterment of the family. As you all know, I have become the program quality director of District 37. That village transforms to Toastmasters International, because I wouldn't be where I am without a village of people. My intentions are someday to be the president of Toastmasters International, not to pat myself on the back or create a bunch of accomplishments, but to be able to continue the 100-year tradition of having clubs that are there for people like you and I, so we can continue to learn, do our public speaking, gain confidence. These are all the things that I hope to do someday. But where I'm at wouldn't happen without a village of clubs, areas, divisions, directions, and different regions. And part of that was also AM Lockport. Eric had invited me to AM Lockport during the pandemic to a Zoom meeting. And it turned out to be one of the best things I've ever done. AM Lockport has taught me so much, and I don't know for sure, but I might not be where I am without being a part of AM Lockport. You all are a strong village, a strong club with great members. Even Marshall, on the other side of the world, is a member of this club from China because he wants to seek out a village where he can learn more from other people. Now, like Marshall and I would recommend part of your journey to visit other clubs, maybe even join other clubs. Now, I'm saying the word or, but it's also and. You don't have to join one or the other. You should join one and the other, whether a guest or a member. Now, if you've seen my email signature lately, I'm a member of 7 different clubs. And recently at an event, I had somebody say to me, as we were discussing these 7 clubs, they said, "Oh, you have some deep pockets." And my response was, I do not have deep pockets, but I have a deep commitment to learning and growing. And that's why I'm a member of so many clubs, and I'm so active in the district leadership. Now, I bring this up because hopefully in the very near future, David Chastain, I believe is how he pronounces it, and I are looking to start an ASL, American Sign Language Club, on Zoom. I already have the club, and Toastmasters International knows about it, and they're excited about the prospects of having an online club. So if you have a deep commitment to learning and growing, this is going to be a great way for you to be able to speak to a community, to a village that you've probably never been able to speak to before. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, David. That was a great speech. And our first speaker of the day, going out of order, is going to be Jackie Kenny, evaluated by Carol Ann. Carol Ann, can you tell us what Jackie will be speaking about?
Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and guest. Jackie is giving a speech from, I believe, the motivational strategies portion of Pathways. And the purpose of this project is for her to review and introduce skills needed to write and maintain a blog, and to share some aspect of their experience maintaining a blog. Her speech is 2 to 3 minutes, Mr. Timer. And do you have her title?
All right, we have a tight space up here. But Jackie did get me her title early last night. Her title is Who I Led and What I Learned. And this is really a speech about trying to write a blog. Oh, whoops. No, I'm sorry. So the first title, if I was organized and I had a better undo list, her title is I'm Not Crying. It's really about her writing a blog and trying to do that without crying. Jackie Kenny.
Thank you and good morning, everyone. I'm not crying. In order to prepare for this blog, I've been looking over past aspects of my life and my life as a Toastmaster. I've been part of this club for 20 years. And I've obviously been part of my life for a very long time. So the idea of a blog for me involves ordinary, everyday things that I want to talk about to people. Put things in perspective and share my ideas and thoughts about the things going on in life. That includes my friends and my family and my Toastmaster family. As you start thinking about these things, going through photos and little videos and looking at your past come to mind. And as I look at my Toastmaster life, I have lots of pictures because it's been 20 years. We've had a lot of events in those 20 years. And when I look back, I remember some people who are missing now. Charlie was referenced this morning. He's not with us anymore. I've enjoyed looking at things like our float that we had in the Old Home Week parade. And at least one person who was on that float isn't with us anymore. These people are very missed. We've had a lot of memorable speeches over the years in this club. And I have a hodgepodge of ideas to try and form into something cohesive so that I can launch this blog and have it run for the appropriate amount of time, which is part of the requirement. And also to do a report on it at the end of the blog and maybe include some of the feedback that I might get from people. I know some of you would not be comfortable doing this. I have no problem with it because, as we know, we've had a TV show through the Mental Health Association for a long time. And we even had a TV show with our Toastmasters Club for a short while. Phil Russell's trying to bring that back to life. So all of you are fodder for my blog, and I hope you'll be happy with the result once I launch it. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Jackie, and we look forward to reading your blog. So our next and final speech will be given by Marty Johnson, and he will be evaluated by Dr. Gerald Stevens. Dr. Stevens, can you tell us about his speech?
Yes, Madam Toastmaster. Before I start talking about Marty's speech, I like the reference for decluttering that you gave us, Tracy. My wife is all about that. She does it every day. I feel like anyway. She is all over that. So, but a tip for her will be helpful. So I appreciate that. To organize. There's also a lady on Netflix. Is it Marie Kondo? Yes, she folds her clothes like that. Very, very organized. Back to Marty. Marty is going to speak today from the Dynamic Leadership Program. His speech, Mr. Timer, is 8 to 10 minutes. He's going to talk about leading in any situation, and he will share some aspect of his leadership project, and he can do it however he wants, whatever style he wants. He wants to be humorous, go ahead. He wants to be informational, go ahead. And his title, do you have his title? Or okay, back to Madam Toastmaster.
I know I tried to give the title away earlier, but the highly anticipated Marty Johnson and his speech, Who I Led and What I Learned. He's going to talk to us about the last 6 months of him being a District C Division Director. Marty Johnson.
Thank you, Tracy. Have any of you ever been a leader in your life? Think back to your childhood, Boy Scout, Girl Scout, school leader. I'm sure many of us have. I've had a wonderful opportunity this past Toastmaster year, and currently being the District 65 Division C Director, which involves, as David knows, and many of you other people here that have been involved in the leadership in Toastmasters, it's working with clubs, area directors to help them achieve their goals, their Toastmaster goals, and the Distinguished Club Program. And it's been a wonderful experience, and it's been challenging. And this morning, I'm going to tell you about the 3 main things that I learned, who I led, and the 3 main things that I learned. And then I'm also going to share an evaluation that I received from people that are my peers in the organization. So the first 3 main points are that leadership is situational. You know, depending on the situation, it's not, leadership isn't a one size fits all. It's not like the problem, okay, we're gonna patch it up with this, bandage A. Bandage A doesn't work for every situation. For example, there were some clubs that survived the pandemic and they decided to go online and have hybrid meetings, but some clubs don't have the technology to do that. So there's the clubs, we lost a number of clubs during the pandemic, as you all know, and there have been different situations where the club officers have had to do some things differently, like we've done at AM Lockport. We had to find some, specifically some of the clubs in the Rochester area had to find other venues. And the area directors work with the club officers to help rectify that. So situational. And then one of the main things that I learned, the second point, is that you have to adapt your leadership style. And there are a number of different leadership styles. And I'm just going to briefly review them. There's directing, coaching, supporting, and delegating. There's 4. And in this leadership development, the dynamic leadership path, I found that my style is coaching. And I attribute that to my career. I coach people where I work at Tops. I help train the associates, and you could say I coach customers. But I like Dave Licata to come back and tell me about all his delicious Italian dishes that he's making. But just familiar with coaching, and that goes hand in hand with Toastmasters. I find that's one of my strengths is coaching. And there are different leadership styles. So, and I don't always use coaching. I have to adapt. Sometimes I have to direct. For example, I planned the Division C contest in Rochester at one of the libraries. And after talking with some of the area directors, they said we have to have this evaluation contest and the international contest for a number of clubs in this area. And we did it. But I had to get some of the area directors to get their members signed up and get things organized. So it's not a one size fits all. It's not like I'm coaching all the time. I'm directing, I'm supporting, I'm delegating to get all these things done, because as you well know, you can't do everything by yourself. So that's where delegating comes in. So those are the 4 different leadership styles: directing, coaching, supporting, and delegating. So now that you know that leadership is situational, you have to adapt. The third main point is that in this project, I had to use an evaluation from other peers to learn how to become a better leader. And what I learned was that in the evaluation, there's 8 different variables that you're graded on. And the first is communication. The second is leadership. The third is interpersonal. The fourth is teamwork. The 5th is problem solving. There's motivation, prioritization, and reliability. And I'm just going to focus on the first 4, communication. And the grades that I received on these were accomplished. So I'm about in the middle of the road on most of these. So I've got a ways to go yet. I'm still learning, but communication, it's a 2-way street. You have to give and take with the members, the area directors, the leadership. You have to give and take. It's not, I want this, don't reply to this. I want this, I want this. You have to give and take. If someone needs help, you try to help them out. And give constructive feedback. That's important in communications. For example, in the Division C contest, there was a lot of communication, as you well know, not only to run a meeting like Tracy is doing today, but to have a meeting with 5 other clubs forming that are in an area come to a division contest. So was a lot of communication involved. And the second category it's called the 360-degree evaluation, where you're evaluated by your peers, is leadership. And again, I'm in the middle of the road on this one. You provide a clear path for a group of people. Like in this instance, it was the area directors that I led. A clear direction, for example, where the division contest is going to be. So I had to communicate with the area directors and the clubs to make sure they knew where everything was going to be, provide direction, physical direction, actually, also where the place is going to be, who qualifies to attend. So there was quite a bit involved there. And then interpersonal skills. I had a wonderful experience yesterday when I was at the Ortho Club in Rochester. I visited it. They celebrated their 200th club meeting. And it was a real big thing for them. They started in, I think he said 2015, and it's a closed club at a corporation. And it's they have a beautiful venue in one of their meeting rooms. And I had the chance to help hand out a couple awards. They handed out the Toastmaster pin for accomplished Toastmaster. One of the guys was a VP of membership. He was the immediate past president, and he's done a lot for the club. So they gave him actually an accomplished Toastmaster pin. The other rep from the club was in both the evaluation and the international speech contest at the division level, David Porter, and they gave him the Toastmaster coin that has the core values of integrity, respect, excellence, and service. And it's a really nice way, it was a really nice way for me to recognize and reward and use my interpersonal skills in that particular venue. And I was very happy to be there to be able to do that. And then teamwork and team building, I have graded as emerging, and to become better leader in the teamwork and team building, I have to be more personally involved with these clubs and the area directors. I did some, but I feel I could do more, and they felt that I could do more and be more present, physically present. Oh, that said, now that you know about these different leadership skills that I was working on, I'm going to use the evaluation to improve my leadership skills. Excuse me. And fellow Toastmasters, if I can leave you with anything, I hope that you know more about who I led, what I led them to do. And I hope that in your Toastmaster journey, in your Pathways journey, if you have an opportunity to lead a group of people, clubs, or to be a club officer or an area director, take the opportunity, because you'll definitely are going to learn something, and you'll improve your leadership skills, and that will enhance your, not only in your personal life, but in your professional life. Madam Toastmaster, back to you. And that is my hodgepodge of my Division C director role. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster.
Yeah, you're tipping it. All right. Now that we're back in order here, can we have a timers report, Larry? Or have you? Maybe. Larry.
I have to say, it's been a hodgepodge of timing this morning. Let me see. What I learned while I was being led to the lectern today is that I'm going to stay positive and I'm not going to cry, because all of our contestants have made it, all of our speakers. David, 616. Jackie, 320. Marty, 923. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you. So if you're in the room, you can vote for David Jones, Marty Johnson, or Jackie Kenny. And I'm sure that the ballots will go up online in just a second. So one of those things about undoing is we have to really create space and time for what really matters. So did I talk about overcommitting? That's one of my favorite things to always do. I can never say no. And that's probably one of the most important things we have to be able to do is say no. If that committee, project, organization doesn't commit to your goals, learn to say no. And if it doesn't make you happy, learn to say no. If both of those things are happening, you need an undo list. So you really have to make that time to fill your life up with things that make you happy. And also some of the things you need to do. So maybe work doesn't make you happy, but you might have to do it. So how do you do that? You start at the beginning of the week and you think of those 3 things that you really, really need to accomplish. And then in those, you really have to think about, what are you going to accomplish at work? What are you going to eat this week? Are you going to eat healthy, or are you going to go to the bar and have all that deep fried food this week? Are you going to try to get some exercise? Dave Licata says that. That's what I'm doing. Oh, sorry. We have to think about exercise, taking those stairs up if you have to, instead of taking the elevator. And one of the most important things we're doing an undo list for is because we have to connect with the people around us, our faith, our family, our friends, and really make the time to connect with those people. So I'll leave you on that note, but first we're going to get a report from our evaluators. I know Marty spoke about adapting here at Toastmasters. We are so good at adapting because we did our speeches out of order and we're going to do our evaluations out of order. So our first evaluator is Dave Licata, evaluating David Jones. Dave.
Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and our guest Elaine. David Jones, next time you're in Lockport, right after I take you ice skating at Cornerstone Arena, we'll go over to East Avenue. We call that the hospital district here in Lockport, and I will introduce you to the Pecoreros. Now, the oldest of four will evaluate the only child. Excellent opening, just a great opening. And he roped us in. He gave us time to get on board his train. His pace was excellent. His vocal variety was one very is enough, right? And his choice of words, there's a lot to be said here when you're looking at David Jones. And there's a lot to pay attention to when David Jones chooses words. He does it in great style, great fashion. We hear some words that aren't used that often. And David, and I'm thinking about his career with us and how long we've known him. I don't remember ever hearing a cliche, so I'd like to salute him for that. And the story, we all identified with the story, and it was nice. Now, where he can improve. You had a pause that normally I would praise, but it was a little bit long for you, David, just for you. We're picking on you. So that was out of character. And you could make the argument that after you watch yourself on this one on video, you might find it was a little disjointed between your opening and the body of your speech. Now, the crazy thing is, I'm going to praise him for something that I just made a note of and evaluated him on. I thought the pause was pretty cool. And I like the way he looked at the ceiling while he did it, because when David Jones pauses, looks at the ceiling, that's just pure gold. I thought that was terrific. And it was a great speech from the point of view that he told us about his plans and fired up this old 42-year history of a Toastmaster guy. So I want to thank you for that, David. Nice job. Madam Toastmaster. Drop them.
Thank you, David. And our next evaluator is going to be Carol Ann. Carol Ann, can you evaluate Jackie's speech? Here she is, Carol Ann.
Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters and guest. I have the pleasure of evaluating Jackie, who is a very experienced Toastmaster, which always comes across in her speeches. In this one, she used gestures very well, and she maintained eye contact with the whole room, looking around. And she is very comfortable speaking. The title of it, I'm Not Crying, was appropriate when she started talking about when you do a blog, you look through pictures that you might be using. And a lot of times, as she mentioned, you see people that aren't with us anymore. And she showed emotion without becoming emotional. I think the length of speech, which was dictated by the project of 2 to 3 minutes, was kind of limited how much she could tell us. However, she didn't really hurry. But she, even though she didn't have a lot of time, she did pique our interest in a blog. I know a few years ago, one of my cousins had a blog, but that's kind of, I guess, gone out of fashion. I don't see them much. And I think we'll be very interested in seeing how her blog goes. And the sandwich approach, where I am supposed to say something where Jackie can improve. That middle portion is very, very thin because Jackie, being very experienced, I really have difficulty coming up with some improvement. All I can say is continue the way you speak. And it's very pleasant to listen to, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Carol Ann. And our final evaluator is Dr. Stevens, evaluating Marty Johnston. Dr. Stevens.
Good morning again, fellow Toastmasters and our guest, Elaine. Marty did a great job today. I would say his style today was more educational and informative, a description of his speech, which we appreciate. We like to learn things here in Toastmasters, and Marty has a wealth of knowledge, and we definitely enjoyed hearing what he had to say. He did use the headset. I'd like to give him kudos for that. I neglect to do this often using the headset, and they do it in the contests, so it'd be useful for us to do that in the future. So I encourage you guys to do that. His title was Who I Led and What I Learned. Very apropos, because that's what he told us about. So it was very direct. We weren't wondering what was going on with the speech, so that's important. He talked about all the different clubs of the pandemic. Some of them didn't make it, right? Because the didn't know what to do with the hybrid online, struggle with that, lost venues. We went through a couple of venues here, and luckily for us, we have Len and Larry who have the technical knowledge to make it happen in regards to the hybrid format. So we get to have people from abroad, which is awesome, and we get to hear their stories. We love all those kind of stories. I do anyway. I'm sure everybody else does. Use the word of the day, hodgepodge. You have to do that kind of on the fly. But in Toastmasters, we do like to give him some words of improvement. He did use cue cards, hard to memorize an 8 to 10 minute speech. So I see that as a possible improvement. Just have to practice a little more, or maybe you could do a PowerPoint. So it's kind of professional cheating in my way. It's right there on the screen. It looks professional. It's something to think about. Just a thought. And maybe a little more vocal variety here or there, and a drop in a little more complicated vocabulary word in our contest. They'd like to see that. So practice as you're going to practice if you're going to compete later. He taught us all the different things in regards to different coaching styles, educated us there, had good eye contact, looked around, natural gestures, good. 360-degree evaluation, that's where all your peers evaluate you. And I can tell you in some leadership circles that I'm in, they don't want to do that. So they're afraid to get evaluated by their peers. But you are not, Marty. So kudos for you. Some people don't want to hear what their friends have to say in regards. They're used to their bosses criticizing them, but they don't want to hear what their best buddy has to say in regards to you can improve. Thank you for encouraging us to get involved in leadership, and kudos for engaging our district and area and division over the years. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Dr. Stevens. And can we get a timer's report? Larry?
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Evaluations. Interesting. Marty had the 8 to 10 minute speech. I thought Dr. Gerald was going to go at least 5 minutes, but he didn't. David Licata, 2 minutes and 54 seconds. Carol Ann, 2 minutes and 31 seconds. Gerald, you won the day with 3 minutes and 13 seconds, but everybody did qualify. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Larry. So if you could take the time to vote for Dave Licata, Gerald Stevens, or Carol Ann. The ballots will be going around and it is now up online so you can place those votes. So I'm going to leave you with our little final roundup of everything. We kind of learned that less stuff is a great place to start, but you also have to have your space functional and make you happy. And after you do that, get rid of that stuff that doesn't belong, seems ugly, or you wish you never bought in the first place. Joshua Becker, who I don't know who is, but he said, maybe the life you always wanted is buried underneath all that stuff that you own. That's kind of a true quote for me because there's so many times there's a piece of paper that's sitting on my desk. I know it's there someplace, but it's under about 25 folders and I don't find it till 2 days after the meeting that I needed it for. And also, once you get that all declutter away, don't undo all that hard work you did by refilling it up with stuff that you buy again. Minimalism can really touch each part of your life, not just your stuff. It could be your social media accounts, the multiple credit cards that we have. How many of us have too many credit cards that we don't need and so forth? So take that time to find the peace by eliminating all that excess in your life. But now we're going to go on to our report holders. And Mike Licata, I am sure you are online. Mike, can you tell us about the word of the day, how we did with our ahs and ums, and a grammarian's report?
Thank you again, Madam Toastmaster. Good morning, fellow Toastmasters and our guests this morning. I'm proud to say Tracy used the word, Larry used the word, Mark used the word, David Jones used it in his speech, Jackie used it in her speech, and Marty used it in his speech as well. So the word did really well for hodgepodge. This morning, my next part of the report in terms of Master and Grammarian and kind of wrapping everything up is I encourage everyone in our club to go back and listen to each section of their respective speeches. I think as a club, we have to accept silence as part of the speech and not worry if it turns into either a pregnant pause or an awkward silence. I also want to encourage a lot of our Toastmasters to slow down when we speak and understand that it is slowing down means that we avoid using a lot of the filler words that I heard this morning between the so's and the ands. There was plenty. And I also want to encourage, again, I'm guilty of it as well. So I want to finish by saying I want to encourage our club members to go back and watch the video if it's on YouTube, even if it's just the one section of the speech, because we are using way too many filler words as it continues to evolve. And again, where I'm guilty of it as well, we need to be more aware of what we're using as filler words. So I encourage everyone to go back and look at the video because we have luxury of being able to do that with all of our meetings being placed on YouTube later. That is my report, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Mike. And now we're going to test our listening skills. Kate, can you give us Quizmaster's report or tell us?
I sure can. I have a hodgepodge of questions. Mike, I finally said it. Okay. Number one, did you all here at the YMCA sign the sympathy card for Kristen in the loss of her brother? Everybody signed it. Thank you, Nancy, for arranging that. Okay, number two, during table topics, Beth mentioned what two hobbies? Gardening and reading. Excellent. Dave, two quick questions. What does he collect?
People.
People. I love this sentiment. I think I do too. I want to be Dave when I grow up. And how do we pronounce his last name? Channon. It's like Shannon, but with a ch. A lot of us are having difficulty with one of our newest members' name pronunciations, Dave Channon. We have 3 Daves, so we have to know the difference. Elaine and her daughter visited Italy to celebrate what accomplishment? Her daughter graduated from pharmacy school. Bravo. Congratulations, Elaine, to your daughter. David Jones, also 2 quick questions. How many clubs is he currently in? 7, lucky 7. We are one of the lucky 7. And fellow Western New Yorkers, how do we pronounce his son-in-law's name? Pecoraro, that's easy. There's a lot of Italians in Niagara Falls and Buffalo. The Italian runs deep. There's Pecoraro's Salon right here in town. Jackie. Jackie said, we are all fodder for what? Her blog. Very good. Marty is Division C director. And yesterday, what did the Ortho Club celebrate? 200 meetings. Excellent. Dave Licata arranged for what guest next week? Mayor Lombardo will be joining us and giving us a proclamation in honor of our 40th anniversary. Next, 2 questions for you, and then I'm done. 2 questions we didn't talk about today, but let's see if you know or remember. The following week, 2 weeks from today on May 30th, who is running our meeting? The DECA high school class with Kristen Badgerbach. So remember, that's 2 weeks from today. And the last question. I made a mistake with my Shaw Festival Niagara on the Lake trip, kind of. Does anyone know what's this Monday? What's this Monday in Canada? It's Victoria Day, which is like our Memorial Day and the launch of the summer, and the show is sold out and no one's taking reservations for lunch. We're going to have a busy time getting across the border, but it will be a beautiful weekend anyway. Remember, Victoria Day is always the week before Memorial Day. Yeah, when we come back, hopefully we miss the traffic. Back to you, Tracy. Thank you.
Thank you, Kate. And last but not least, our general evaluator, Nancy Ferry. Nancy, can you tell us how we did today?
Thank you, Tracy. I'm glad I wasn't least. What a great meeting. Just absolutely fabulous theme, undo list. Something I will put on my to-do list is to undo a few things. Great word of the day, hodgepodge. Excuse me. Tracy, you prepared, you were well organized. Everything was filled except for the timer, and you immediately took care of that when you came in. And we want to thank Larry for stepping in, and Kate and Mary and Mark for helping to set up. We welcomed our guests in an appropriate way, and welcome, Elaine. So glad that you were here to join us. The presiding officers was prepared. The meeting started exactly at 7:00 a.m. and all of the roles were properly introduced. And it was just fabulous. As far as the evaluators go, 3 fabulous seasoned Toastmasters were evaluating 3 great seasoned speakers. Fabulous job on all of those. Dave, you were right here on board at time. You mentioned the things that that David did with vocal variety, his pace, his vocabulary. You gave him a little bit to improve on, and then you came back around with the sandwich approach. Did well on time. Carol Ann, another great sandwich approach. Where are you? There you are. You used a lot of hand gestures. You complimented your speaker, Jackie. And you mentioned the title and that you complimented her on her expressions and that title was important to you as well. Gerald used sandwich approach, squeaking in at a very, very close time. I was holding my breath, Gerald. You came out from the lectern, yay. And you identified Marty's type of speech. You made it into a sandwich approach and you suggested improvements for him and then came back around with some great points for him. I just had a really good time today and I'm so glad that we had a guest and that we are, wow. I'm just thinking of David too, being in 7 clubs and he chose us. What an honor. And what an honor that we have 2 other people on our Zoom right now that are from another country. And this is a lot. This means a lot to be in a club that values each other, respects each other, and is learning and growing and challenging one another so that others do want to join. And it definitely is worth getting up for. Tracy? Back to the
Thank you. As an officer of the club, why don't you stay up? And Elaine, thank you for being a guest here today. And can you give us a little information about yourself? How did you find AM Lockport and what did you think of our meeting today?
Thank you. Thank you. First, I would like to say again, thank you very much for invitation. I found your club online on Toastmaster website. I'm joining Toastmaster 1 year. It's Canadian club. District 1 to 3, it's Speakers of the Hills. They located in Toronto. And of course, it's only my first opportunity to join other club. And of course, I'm sure that it will be great for improving my speaking skills, listening skills, and I'm enjoying meeting with different people. It's great. And I would like to say thank you. I'm enjoying today your meeting. It was great meeting. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster, for great job. Every part of your meeting, I'm enjoying it. Table topic, great speeches, evaluation, and your atmosphere, I'm really enjoying. Thank you very much. Back to you.
Thank you, Elaine. It was an honor to have you with us, and I hope you join us once again in the near future, if not next week when the mayor comes.
I will be happy. Thank you.
Thanks. So now it's time to announce our winners. I'll let you announce the winners and I'll announce the category. So our best table topic speaker is
Elaine Yellen.
Elaine, another great reason to join us every week.
Sure, thank you.
Our best evaluator.
Dr. Gerald.
Thank you. We don't have ribbons. I don't know what happened to our ribbons. Oh, we will get you your prize in a minute. And our best speaker.
David Jones.
And Nancy, you can pick for David our 50.
Oops. The last three digits, 591. All right. Margot, yay, Margot.
So that just goes to say that you can win even if you're online. So if there is no other announcements, I am going to pass. There is another announcement. Come on up, Dave.
I just want to invite everybody one more time. This coming Sunday at 3 p.m., the Alliance Church at Davidson and High will have the local glee club singing many beautiful songs. They are great. And myself and 4 of my students will be interpreting the song Both Sides Now by Joni Mitchell. But then if you missed that, the next day, coordinating things, I got the chorus to come to Cruise Night, which is every Monday in May right through September, and they will be performing again. So if you come to Cruise Night, you can have a good time. You can buy a few hamburgers from my club, and you can listen to a great chorus. And we again will be interpreting. The time for the Cruise Night goes from 5:30 to 8:30. I'm not exact about the time that they're singing. Yes. Location is Ida Fritz Park, right in the center of town where it's the triangle. And you see a lot of old cars and things, but we're trying to get younger people involved too. So I invited them to come and sing, and they said they would, and I'll be interpreting. So thank you if you can show up, and I appreciate your attention. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
I have a quick announcement also. One of the things that you may not see behind the scenes, I know that Len and I are at the YMCA every week, and either him and I will piggyback on who's setting up and running things from here. But Mark Campos is an integral part of what we do, because Mark puts the polls together. He records the meetings when we're not able to do so. And he's also spotlighting people when I'm not able to do that. And so we kind of piggyback against each other. And Mark, I just want to say a thank you today. You made everything run smoothly for not only me, but for the rest of the club and those that are on Zoom. So thank you, Mark.
Hello again, everyone. Tracy, thank you for a wonderful meeting. Mark, Larry, thanks for everything that you do. We had a great meeting this morning. Next week, Dr. Gerald will be our Toastmaster, and we'll have the mayor here, which should be pretty exciting. I've known John Lombardi pretty much all my life. He grew up in the west end of Lockport, so we should be prepared to torture him just a little bit as the mayor, you know. Give you, you know, the pothole stories or something, you know, just go at them, you know. The water bill, the taxes, you know, we got, no tax. We can't discuss that. Sorry, we can't discuss that, Tracy. That's off limits for Tracy. Well, Tracy went over all of the, anything anybody else had to add to the meeting. So I will just close the meeting and say thank you very much.